He is the strongest hero to save the world. He is also an employee who defends against thousands of demons for his companions. I thought that the fallen heroes left only shrunken. But no one thought. 17 years later, Shiman Yi, who was seriously injured, suddenly appeared. The living legend is back. It turned out that decades ago, the underground civilization suddenly attacked the above-ground world. Human beings are beaten back. Until some people get the same superpowers as the underground people. Human society has just begun to counterattack. By 2005, the 7 strongest heroes in the world headed to the last dungeon in the midst of all eyes. Through unremitting efforts, finally defeated the underworld. In order to thank them for their contribution, humans have given them endless wealth and honor. But Shiman Yi, the strongest captain among the 7, in order to protect his teammates, died in the final battle. Only one statue was left for the workers to look up at. However, the style of the story suddenly changed. Since there is no external threat, superhumans from Earth start competing in Olympic Games. The competition event is to sit in the game cabin and control virtual characters to fight. This handsome guy with purple eyes. It's Bibble's ace player. Obviously, it is a battle between 2 national teams, brutally being manipulated by him to complete the solo show. Between flowing clouds and flowing water. Just use 2 swords to hit a super god record of 6 consecutive kills. Both commentators are helpless. Worthy of being the top 3 Supermen in the history of war. The players in our country will be completely wiped out soon without the power to fight back. The last contestant, Baek Ha-yeon. In this way, it became the hope of the national audience. She threw out her best long whip. Started a head-to-head confrontation with that single. Seeing that the attack is about to hit. In the anticipation of the audience, that single figure suddenly disappeared. Bai Xiaoyan immediately realized that it was not good. Then I heard that single voice behind my ear. Worthy of being the daughter of the 7 heroes. It's a pity that such a team can't win. Voice down. Bai Xiaoyan's character was easily beheaded by 2 swordlights. That single defeated the group with 1 enemy and 7. Become the MVP of the game. The score between A and the 2 countries has come to an exaggerated 0-11. The audience is so angry that they want to scold their mothers. Because when my younger brother made trouble decades ago, Shiman Yen, the strongest among the 7 heroes, was resolutely born. And his apprentice by Jinhu. I didn't expect to play the world's bottom 1 in the game now. Netizens are furious. Swipe the screen to demand an apology from the national team. Ask head coach Baek Jinho to step down. The audience also made insulting gestures. One after another said that RNM stepped back. As a former hero, Bai Jinhu is in a complicated mood. Be your own coach and guide these rookies to play. Lost 3 games in a row. Looking at the dejected looks of the players, he knew very well that apart from Bai Xiaoyan, everything else is rubbish. But so what? Those who are able or withdraw. Or is dead. After returning to the office, he looked at Xininyan's photo and sighed. If only you were still alive. After speaking, I plan to attend the press conference. Resignation and apology to the people of the whole country. The assistant beside him advised him to think more about it. But Bai Jinhu has a heart. Unless Xininyan is revived. Otherwise, if the gods come, our country's war will be lost. Then the chairman called. Bai Jinhu was about to say that he was going to resign. But I received a message that could be called a nuclear bomb. Just when a huge space crack appeared on the upper floor of the country, a figure fell from it. For a time, countless people spontaneously surrounded him. Because this person was 17 years ago. Shiman Yen, the strongest hero identified as dead. He came back alive. At that time, in order to protect his teammates. After being left alone in the dungeon. Block the attacks of countless underground monsters. Until the gate of the dungeon is completely closed. Just launched the final charge against the monsters. But now, Xininyan was surprised to find that she was lying on the hospital bed. And also traveled to 2022, 17 years later. How could his first reaction be? The time I entered the last dungeon was obviously 2005. Until the nurse turned on the TV. In the news, Shiman Yen was revived and received treatment in the hospital. It has become the hottest headline in the whole network. Experts believe this could be an extremely rare spacetime warp. The dazed Shi Manhwa looked dazed. He asked the nurse to bring the mirror. His appearance has not changed. How can a 47-year-old man still look like a little fresh meat? Is it really time warping? Suddenly he thought of another question. Some nervously asked the nurse. How are my properties handled? Donated to needy people according to your will. What about the house? What used to be a celebrity home turned into a museum. People take pictures every day. Where is the car? It was also donated before being auctioned by charity. Shi Manhwa looks like she has lost her soul. Not only the house and the car are gone. Money is gone. Do you want to be a beggar after you leave the hospital? The nurse smiled and said. How come? You are a hero who saves the world. And Mr. White Chicken Tiger. You heard your news and you will be here soon. I'm going to ask. Xiaomingyan still couldn't believe it after the nurse left. I really came 17 years later. He decided to use his ability. Analytical Eye. This skill is his trump card to become the strongest in the world. Not only can you see the existing abilities of the observed object, can see through the future potential. Relying on him, Shi Manhwa climbed step by step to become the world's strongest. And unearthed the white chicken tiger who was still a small dish at that time. This kid can't fight. Great potential for speed. Finally became one of the 7 heroes who saved the world. However, when Xiaomingyan observes her attribute panel, it is found that in addition to the willpower reaching 110 to break through the human limit, no other properties change. Then I have an extra superpower of immortality. He was thinking about how this skill appeared. The door was opened. The white chicken tiger who has become a middle-aged man walked in. Saya is really you. You really came back. I haven't seen Xiaomingyan for many years, she is still so young. On the contrary, he has become a sentimental uncle. Eye sockets were wet in an instant. Shi Manhwa said with a smile that you are old. And get weaker. White chicken tiger wipes away tears and smiles. A quiet life does make him smooth. But fortunately, Shi Manhwa, a man born with prickles, is back. It turned out that after Xiaomingyan was discharged from the hospital, watching old TV shows at home every day, Baijihu asked him to look out the window. All the people outside are journalists. It's definitely not okay to hide at home. Simon Yen is helpless. He decided to tell the world. I want to live a peaceful life. However, at the press conference, a bald man suddenly asked. Excuse me, Mr. Simon Yen. Do you have a game to become a professional player in the firefight? As soon as a critical issue arises. Reporters are nervous. Xiaomingyan's answer surprised everyone. Not at all. Why? Could it be because you don't have confidence in yourself? Bald journalist with a malicious smile on his face. White chicken and tiger feel bad when they hear it. Xiaomingyan's personality. Maybe go down and give the other party a shot on the spot. But Xiaomingyan pointed at the reporter's head and laughed. I don't know if I have confidence. But the fact that you have no hair is known to the global audience. Everyone laughed. Xiaomingyan put on a serious expression. Reiterate again that I really want to live a peaceful life. What's on fire virtual rivalry? It's all children's stuff. Just as he turned to leave, a young reporter stood up. I want to ask you one last question. Yesterday Empire player Gerard said. You're just a straight fish you can knock down with one punch. The 7 heroes are even more of a group of antique farts. I don't know what you think about this. Simon Yen was stunned. I doubt my ears. Who dares to be so crazy in front of me? The reporter told him Gerard was the ace of the Empire. The glory of being called a tank guard. There are 3 top players in Fire of War. Naiden from Country B, Roy from Country E and Daniel from Country C. Gerard is just behind the 3. Xiaomingyan suddenly lost interest. Holding his head, he said impatiently. It's just a cat and a dog. Tell him he can't even compare to the big 3. Just be honest and shut up. If you really want to touch it, don't hide in the game. Donate directly to a real match. Then he made a friendly gesture to Gerald. You wild dog dare to appear in front of me. I'll bury you in the backyard with my own hands. Gerald in front of the TV was so angry that he crushed the remote control. He's number 1 anyway. Ever suffered such humiliation? Ask your partner to prepare the plane on the spot. Go to country A to meet the strongest Superman in the world for a while. Runny nose lowly. Turned into a beautiful woman almost overnight. And the first thing he saw Shi Yen. Just rush over and beg for a hug. It turns out that she is Bai Xiaoyan, the daughter of Bai Jihu. She was very excited after not seeing Shi Yen in 17 years. Because when she was a child, only Shi Yen bought her chocolates and biscuits. Watching grown niece. Shi Yen feels a lot of courage. Bai Xiaoyan suddenly approached her. Uncle, do you really don't want to join the battle? Shi Yen pointed to the TV. Said that the drama I was chasing was coming to an end soon. Bai Xiaoyan hugged her arm and kept acting like a baby. After being rejected, he showed an angry expression. Uncle, you have changed. As long as it was my request. You will say anything. Bai Xiaoyan suddenly had a flash of inspiration. Tell Shi Yen that he is going to the association to take the test today. I want her to go with me. One side is the finale of the TV series. On one side is the eager and well-behaved niece. Shi Yen finally compromised. So what are we going to do? Bai Xiaoyan smiled brilliantly. Soon he brought Shi Yen to the Fire of War Association. She is fully armed. Under the guidance of the staff, I came to the machine. Confirmed weapons and armor. 321 scan completed. Avatar synchronization in progress. Bai Xiaoyan put on the helmet. Officially enter the virtual world. You look after uncle. Come try your hand at a monster. Watching the video of the battle on the big screen. Xiaoyan feels very novel. The staff is on the sidelines, Balabala science is set. Xiaoyan has a cold attitude. She pays more attention to Xiaoyan's battle. Boko strangling a werewolf with a whip. While walking and leaping, an arrow pierces through the furnace. Then the two weapons combine to slash. The monster instantly turned into data and dissipated. Bai Xiaoyan showed a confident smile. Didi ran to Shi Yen to ask for praise. Uncle, how am I doing? Although still far from. But it's great to be at this level at 16. Baek Haiyan expressed dissatisfaction. I want Shi Yen to try it too. I told you not to play Huo Fengmyun. If you didn't let you play, then do a test. Bai Xiaoyan expressed longingly. When I was young, my father said that Uncle Xiaoyan was the most powerful. But when I grow up, Uncle is gone. Simon Yen sighed. It's all about this. Seeing you beg me so much, it's only this one time. The staff is also very excited. Immediately recommend Shi Yen to wear armor and weapons. Items that others can only move with all their might. Shi Yen easily mentioned. She's too lazy to wear a suit. More casually throw the shield on the ground. Defense is not my style. One gun is enough. Don't bother so much, just start. Sit in the game cabin. Entered the world of war for the first time. Scan complete. Spawning clones from scan results. Shi Yen also felt that this process was amazing. She warmed up. I just want to try the top monsters in the game. In the next second, Sailben, who was tens of meters tall, appeared in front of her eyes. The staff is still introducing. This monster is immune to physical attacks. This is a special monster that can only be defeated with mental power. And is generated using the strongest individual data in the database. Watch this monster come rushing. Shi Yen didn't even look at it. Throw the weapon at the next moment. Thumb and middle finger stick together. Facing this monster, my brain collapsed. I saw this powerful monster was instantly killed. Looking at Xia Yan and the tester in front of the screen, they were dumbfounded. Is this a monster that can be defeated with a brain break? Shi Yen said that the chicken fucked the logistics. Looking at the disappearance of the monster, it also means that it will be like this after death. Everyone has not yet reacted to the combat power of this superhero. The researcher said that while Saraben isn't a very difficult monster to deal with, but it's not something that can be solved by a single brain breaker. Shi Yen looked at the screen and wanted him to have another practice hand. There is one more thing I want to test. So the blue light sensation will generate a monster again. Watching the monster that is about to spawn. Shi Yen lamented that these monsters are nothing more than that and not enough to warm up. At the next moment, a voice suddenly appeared in the testing field. Yeah, after all, it's a Superman. How can a mere Salbon be satisfied? Shi Minyan looked around and wondered who was talking. At this time, on the console outside, it's already a red light flashing and an alarm sounding. There is also an alert on the screen. The system has been invaded by an external magic block. I saw a big man full of flames appear from above. The next moment, the tomahawk throws out the energy accompanied by flames. Reached the ground. The surrounding ground was shattered. Red eyes are not domineering. If it is Gerald who once said that the 7 heroes are all old. Shi Minyan, who was looking at him, said. You said it counts to come directly to you, right? Shi Minyan looked at the person in front of her. Without saying a word. Gerard taunted. Are you afraid? Then I started to mock the 7 heroes again. So I rushed towards Shi Minyan. Ready to kill. Facing this slash. Shi Minyan is calm and composed. The next moment is a flash of light. Simon Yen appeared behind Gerard. Cold eyes. The whole body is still full of electric lights and shadows. What? You say I'm scared. Since here. Just feel the fear. But the 2 people on the console didn't know why. Why Steven Gerard is in the virtual training room. The next moment I heard someone say. Do not worry. So the door opened. 3 people appeared in front of the door. I saw a white-haired uncle talking happily. This is what I agree with. He is the president of Feng Yun Association, Pu Tantai. The following words and the tester are unknown, so. I saw Pu Tantai said that this matter was discussed in advance. And this woman with glasses. This is Gerard's agent, Emma Moss. Because the president thinks. Maybe by this chance. Maybe Shi Minyan will like to go to the fight of war. I saw a cavity and a rot colliding together in the training room. Instant black tornado. After the 2 people collided, they had a big talk. Ximinyan thinks this kid is not bad. The next moment opened the analytical eye to gain insight into the strength. Both muscle and stamina are 100 full. This man is a born tank. And willpower reached 87. Although irritable. But not a lip service either. Gerald, who was being stared at, didn't know why. I saw the corner of Ximinyan's mouth raised. Remembering my newfound abilities. I just want to try this guy in front of me. So the next moment, he rushed over like lightning. Gerald looked at Simon Yen, who was rushing. He raised his battle axe and prepared to cut. But Simon Yen stopped in front of Gerard. Looked at him with a smile on his face. Seeing the axe pointing at Shi Minyan, he chopped it up. Listen to the sound of an explosion that resounds through the sky. The hero was smashed into the ground. I can't even pick it out. Everyone in the control room was stunned. What's the situation? This is. Why stop? I was hacked by all these people. Gerald is also a little confused. Why did he stop the moment he came in front of his eyes? It's like waiting for your clothes to fall off. And the next moment, a bolt of lightning shot out from the smoke accompanied by the dragon's chant. Blow up on Gerard. Gerald was shocked to see the lightning. Lose sight. A spear stabbed into the wall of the training room. The crowd watched the attack. Thinking of Shi Minyan, is it okay to take this attack hard? See the smoke clear. A figure appeared. Asking Gerald if it was fun. Gerard feels insecure. I go. What happened? There is nothing wrong with being cut by myself. Shi Minyan stood up right now. He also said that the experiment just now was very successful. Chop down with an axe on your back. Not only won't die. Wounds can also heal immediately. Then he explained that it was because he had a skill called immortality. Everyone is stunned. This ability is simply against the sky. Next door there is a man named Li Jian. Also this. A virtue. Simon Yan explained. This seems to be the superpower that appeared after my resurrection. Next moment. Ask the tester to disable this skill in the system. Gerard thought he was a hero. This ability is really powerful. Then pull out the spear stuck in the wall. I threw it to Simon Yen. Still talking. The hero is as arrogant as the rumors say. Shi Minyan grasped the spear. The whole body is filled with blue light. To Gerald. Don't beat the big 3 first. Come and challenge the devil. It's really ignorant. Listen to Shi Minyan. Gerald got angry. The next moment, a sprint shot over. Burning flames all around. There was a bang when the two collided. The next second is another collision. Is the battle on the spot intense? I saw that Gerard was exhibiting another painting. Xininyan is gone. And Shimen Yan walked behind him. A blue light accompanied by the dragon's chant is very shattered. The attack went right in front of Gerald's face. He was scared stupid. So he hurriedly jumped back to avoid the attack of this spiritual power. Xininyan is thinking. With such a big shield. Still have such a quick reaction. Not bad. And the next second, Shimen Yan held a gun in one hand. Blue and black energy bursting out of the body. A charge full of energy. Shot the pistol at Gerald. This explosive attack. Directly into Gerald's shield. There was a loud explosion. The energy in Shimen Yan's body is still flowing. Game over. Shimen Yan Shang. Gerald hadn't reacted yet. The original long spear was about to hit the shield at the moment. Sudden change of trajectory. The next moment, he bypassed his body and stabbed the wall. Shimen Yan is still saying that he has won. Saying that you are still far away. And Gerard also expressed dissatisfaction. It doesn't count if you haven't fallen yet. Watching this pissed young bald yell, Xininyan began to educate him. Anyway, with such a big shield, you will never win me. Then suggested that he replace the shield with a smaller one. Gerald sounds baffled. So it is said that this giant shield affects your ability to move. Also blocked your view. Gerald suddenly realized. Xininyan looked at him humbly accepting. Thinking that this person is not only talking big words. That's all. The Superman who taunted the 7 heroes. He was taught to be submissive by Shimen Yan. And by Jing, who was looking at the screen outside. Seeing this scene, the blood almost came out of anger. Shoyan boy. Also obey the opponent's lesson. Xininyan is ready to return to reality. Ready to watch the show. Before I left, I thought I had donated all my money. I'm going to let this bald man pay the tuition. Gerard immediately agreed. But there is a condition. 2 weeks later. At level 1. Want to fight again. Shimen Yan immediately expressed that she was not interested in the war. I just want to show off and watch dramas. Gerard grabbed him and said. You can give him anything as long as you agree to participate. Xininyan was so scared that she burst into shock. Look at those eyes full of love. Xininyan doesn't even want tuition fees. See lobbying to no avail. Gerald's angry face came together. Talking loudly. Such a good skill. It's a waste if you don't participate in the war. People watching outside. Seeing this passionate scene. I think it's good that I'm not Xininyan. Otherwise, I'm afraid it will be too late. While the president looked at the screen. Suddenly thought of something. Showing a sly smile. The next day. Shimen Yan started to watch dramas from a bad start. And the TV suddenly broke a news. She is reported to be competing in a Division 1 event. And I also accepted the offer. Shimen Yan was dumbfounded. When did you agree to participate in the competition? So the whole person jumped up. Which bastard is calculating me like that? The 6.5-year-old niece. A few weeks later she's a slender beauty. Not only good looking but also good figure. Personal combat power is also very strong. Still a star. Even act like a spoiled child. There's no way even a top hero has a niece. At this time she is training outside the villa. Baiji Lake is also watching. I saw the golden lightning flashing all over Xiaoyan's body. The figure flickered left and right like a teleportation, and 2 afterimages appeared. Just keep moving back and forth. When Xininyan heard that Xiaoyan was training, she also looked at it curiously. Look at where this big niece is now. I saw Baiji Lake throwing a golden ball. Bai Xiaoyan's eyes are golden. The next moment the whip flicked and entangled the ball. Watching Xiaoyan complete the training goal. Baiji Lake is ready to go straight again. Said she could go faster. Shimen Yan looked at this special training without knowing what to say. So the analytical eye opened the insight into the attributes. The attributes of Superman are all destined. And Xiaoyan's agility and willpower are already at full value. There is no possibility of raising. And it is impossible for this niece to display the strength expected by Baijihu. This way of training is wrong. So when Xiaoyan was sitting on the ground preparing to rest, he couldn't get out. Look at her and say, if A-star Ace's combat level is only like this. Indeed, in the battle with Mr. D, not even one player can do it. Xiaoyan was very happy to see this uncle appear. Asked excitedly, Uncle, what should I do? Xiaomingyan said that there should be no need to practice agility. Baiji Lake heard that. I think it can be improved a little more. Simon Yen, who sees through everything, said, Ji Wu Xiaoyan is different from you. She's not up to your prime speed. The same goes for the whip. You are both speed supermen. Even superpowers are the same. That's why I wanted to train her to be a secondary attacker. But you are different. In the next moment, prepare yourself to train this niece. Just ask what to do after the whip entangles the opponent. Xiaoyan immediately said that he would destroy the balance and hand it over to his teammates. Shimenyan looked at this niece and said it was completely wrong. Just build up your muscles and fencing skills. You can solve it yourself. So he picked up Xiaoyan's weapon. It is correct to prepare to show her how to fight. At this time, Shimenyan looked at the special sucker sandbag in front of her. When I remembered that I was watching TV in the morning and was calculated and beaten. Just pick up the whip and get ready to throw. I saw one side throwing out and entangled the sandbag. Next moment, blue eyes. The whole body is filled with lightning wantonly. Right hand holding a dagger. Just cut it out. I saw a flash of lightning and hit the sandbag instantly. The sandbag was cut off from the middle by the blue waist. Bai Jihu and Xiaoyan who were watching were stunned. Fuck, is it that strong? Cut it off. Cut out. After Shimenyan finished the demonstration, she asked Xiaoyan if she saw it clearly. Xiaoyan's heartbeat is accelerating at this time, but he still hasn't slowed down. Xiaomingyan looked at them and explained again. In short, you can't knock down your opponent with just a long whip. The sword must be as good as the whip. The pair of women looked at Shimenyan. Under the stunned eyes, I understand. Hear an affirmative answer. Shimenyan is also unambiguous. Immediately talk about doing 500 sets of muscle exercises first. The white chicken and the tiger also want. The women were so scared that they broke out in cold sweat. Start on this day. Under the despotic power of Shimenyan. The devil's training is about to rain on the women's heads. And what they are suffering now. Exactly what the president of the Fengyun Association said. Let Shimenyan turn anger into training. In the training ground of the Imperial City national team. At this time, Gerald obeyed Shimenyan's words. Replaced giant shields with minions. Through the familiarity of these days. His strength is also advancing by leaps and bounds. His agent is also amazed. Gerard heard that his strength has improved a lot. What Simon Yen said at that time. It was actually said to let him improve his strength. The agent said that because after changing to a small shield, the only shortcoming has also been resolved. As long as it stabilizes. Victory over the big three is also possible. Can perform at a higher level in the game. So happy. Gerard thought of the previous training room. Xiaomingyan asked him for tuition. I asked how much this upgrade would be worth in exchange for gold coins. After hearing at least 10 million. Just glanced at the screen. Talking. Then send 10 million to Shimenyan immediately. Just after Xiaomingyan trained the two women with the devil. The competitive game of War and Wind also kicked off. This battle is against Ti. The scene is in full swing. The host also worked hard to explain the situation of the two teams before the game. This is a friendly match between two worlds. He decides whether the hero Shimenyan and Dishi can confront each other. Then the screen appears. For the list of participants suitable for Ti. The star players of the two worlds were also explained separately. And by Xiaoyan, who has always been the deputy attacker. In this game. Changed location. Hope she grows up. The game is about to start. Dungeons in this game. The palace of the ancient underground city of Martha Burn, guarded by the pagodas. This underground city has a total of 3 floors. Each floor has a boss. The first floor is the Paving War King. The second layer is the Death Knight. On the third floor, ancient dragons and wizards are waiting for the contestants. The following is the introduction of the rules of the game. So the commentator began to speak hard. At this time, the contestants of both sides were also cheering continuously at the scene. Entered the playing field. First game starts. Game start. Players on both sides began to attack quickly. The shopkeepers also appeared. These shopkeepers have golden eyes. Reveal a murderous spirit. The two sides fought fiercely. Although the terrain attack is slower. But it's like an iron wall. The screen turned to NVC. I saw white blind eyes shining golden light. Hold the dagger and whip with both hands. I rushed up with my teammates. And they didn't confront the building soldiers head-on. But he rushed over without hesitation. The narrator was shocked when he saw such a scene. In this way, they also skipped the shopkeepers in the second area. NVC gave up the protracted war. Turned into rush. This transition is risky. But as long as it succeeds, you can get a lot of accumulated powder. May also disrupt the terrain strategy. So soon they came. In front of the Battle King on the first floor of the fort. Ready to launch a general attack. They are fighting the boss. But it was seen by a team member of the terrain. After Paul Ward saw, I quickly reported to Gerald's team. After Gerard knew it, he began to feel something was wrong. The team also began to discuss countermeasures. Gerard thought about the squad's ability to have a player. Just talk to that person. Now it's all about your superpowers. And Leisher's team is still attacking the King of Pulu. Just when Bai Xiaoyan was about to use his trick. A blue light is on. The next moment, a round shield hit him heavily. Bai Xiaoyan and his teammates were shocked when they saw the scene. After being hit by the round shield, Bai Xiaoyan also slammed into the wall hard. At this moment, Bai Xiaoyan's whole body was already limp on the ground. There is also sound from the system. White Summer Rock game over. Gerald looked at Bai Xiaoyan, who disappeared, and said, "It's a good tactic indeed. But even if this tactic is successful, the ending can't be changed." After speaking, behind the boss, the teammates of the Empire rushed out. And the boss also fell to the ground after their attack. Sound from the system. The first floor boss has been killed. Close in 10 minutes. Gerard was not satisfied. Next moment. Start attacking NVC opponents. Facing the superhuman attack. NVC's team has no power to parry. They were caught off guard by the sudden Imperial team. In this way, there is no suspense, one-sided slaughter. Seeing to be wiped out. A blink of an eye. Only one person left. Gerald picks up the tomahawk. Looking at him with intense murderous intent. Talking. First round. Stop here. Just cut it off at this Superman. End of first game. 0-1 terrain victory. In the rest area. Bai Xiaoyan walks in the corridor lost. My team lost again. And this time I obviously still have my uncle's advice. And Simon Ya is instructing them how to kill Gerard once. Malta Burn is one of the dungeons he and the president conquered together when they were young. So I am very familiar with this map. Then start telling them how to fight against terrain teams. For the current S team, it is absolutely impossible to beat Gerard's team. In the last game, the biggest mistake is not doing a good job of investigation. And when Xiaoyan was wiped out by the enemy, he also froze in place. Eventually led to the annihilation of the entire army. There is no way for such a team without fighting spirit to win. Next, Shi Menyi started to get down to business. Start telling them what to do against Steven Gerrard's team. With the start of the second game, Gerrard's team started to attack. This time they are divided into two teams. Adopted 65 formation. Want to strike first. Quickly occupy the hunting ground. In the end, Gerard will specialize in hunting. The key to this game is to look at Gerard's personal ability. The game is going on fiercely. The audience is also watching intently. The screen returns to the team. After all, Team Baixian still adopted the plan of the last round. Bypassed the monster again and rushed to buff. The on-site commentary also sweated for them. While Shimanyi looked at their actions but showed a smirk. Tactic just now. Just do what he says. There must be a chance. Seeing Bai Xiaoyan's eyes straightened. This time it will definitely be a good fight. Boss is on the way. The scouts of Team B are already watching here. But they didn't wait for Bai Xiaoyan's team to arrive. So I reported to Gerald. Gerard thinks they were beaten 11-0 last game. Probably changed tactics and didn't care. And the purpose of this game? Just to lure Simon Ya out. After last improvement. Just wanna fight again. When Gerard rings. Suddenly there is a sound behind. I saw a purple lightning blow up to the squad they're in. Right in front of Gerard. An explosion sounded. In the next moment, several figures rushed out in the purple light. It is astonishing that all the members of the Baixian team have assembled. This time they. Let's fight Gerald's squad with all the teams. A fierce battle of vengeance is about to start. At this time, Bai Xiaoyan and the others had already come to Gerard's team. The battle of revenge is about to start. Bai Xiaoyan holds a dagger in his hand, looking firmly at Gerald. Ringing what uncle said to him. Remember, his weakness is pushing. Because Gerald changed from the original giant shield to a small shield. Defense range is also reduced. And he hasn't gotten used to the shield yet. So there's a chance to kill Gerald. And in the current situation, the number of your own team is twice that of the opponent. If you take the chance, you can go back successfully. Bai Xiaoyan echoed his uncle's teachings. I silently say thank you. The next moment, he led the team and rushed over. Behind him, there are also assisting teammates to provide more powerful abilities. A siege kicked off again. I saw Gerald cut down with an axe. Bai Xiaoyan used teleportation and appeared behind him. Then rushed to Gerard's squadron. The other opponent launches an attack. Only 2 slashes were heard. Bai Xiaoyan completed the double kill. Just when Gerard saw that the team had 2 players. When annihilated and angry. Another attack came from behind. Gerard eliminated the opponent with a single upward cut. At this moment, Gerard's team has been surrounded. This 3-on-8 battle can no longer escape. The next moment, the Baixian team began to attack. Gerard said with purple eyes. It's okay to deal with weaklings like you. Launched a powerful attack on an opponent. Bai Xiaoyan saw the opportunity and rushed forward. In between Gerard's attacks, Zhou braved the lightning blue light and rushed over. Then cut out with a sword. The right leg was cut off by a sword. The next moment the whip flicked and bound the left leg. With a bang. Gerard is already on the ground. The other 2 members of the squad have also been eliminated. I saw Bai Xiaoyan walking slowly into Gerald like a god of war. Then he pointed his sword at the bald bumper. The outcome is set. But Gerard looked at Bai Xiaoyan with a smile. Said Simon Yi is really amazing. Just cut it out with a sword. Gerald game. Finish. Seeing this scene, Baijihu showed an expression of disbelief. Simon Yi had a smirk on his face. Then I thought of a more fun way. The game is over. All team members also come out of the virtual pod. The game also ended with 2 wins for Tish. Although the Dishi team won. But Bai Xiaoyan defeated 5 supermen alone. Among them, even Gerard, the main force of the tank, was defeated. The changes in the A world this time have surprised the audience. The honor of this hard-won military killing belongs to Assure's trump card. Top hero's niece Bai Xiaoyan. Constant flashing lights. The reporter is also interviewing the head coach of World A, Baijihu. Let Baijihu comment on the background of this battle. Baijihu said that although the final result was still lost, but it is a very valuable experience for the players. Then the reporter said that this tactical sneak attack made people's eyes shine. How did you come up with? The white chicken tiger responded to the reporter with a smile. The next moment, he said in the direction of Simon Yi. In fact, this tactic was conceived by Simon Ya. Simon Yi looked at the reporters. Thinking about this situation, I appointed myself to be unable to escape. I'm going to clean up the white chicken and tiger when I get home. And Bai Xiaoyan also stated in the interview that it was because of his uncle's training. Only by myself can I improve so obviously. Simon Yi sees it. And the president also came behind him, looking at him with a smile on his face. When I saw him, Simon Ya, I was so angry. He was the one who made the calculations on TV before. At that time, I went to the association to make trouble for a few years. In the end, he was told by the chairman's superb acting skills that he had to compromise. And reached an agreement with the chairman. If the game is the team can beat Gerardo, I will not persuade Shimen Yi to participate in the war. The president asked if Shimen Yi told him about the secret passage. After admitting it, Simon Ye said. After all, it's not decent enough to use a secret passage for competitions. And I also want to see how much Bai Xiaoyan can improve during training. So I told him. Bai Xiaoyan also found the most suitable position after his guidance. The president looked at Shimen Yi. It's a pleasure to revisit your tactics after all these years. Simon Ye proudly said. I was already great. Then the president sought his appearance and said that he would not persuade him again in the future. Just one last proposal. It's just a race in a charity contest. After speaking, the president did not have any hope. But did not expect. The next moment, I heard Simon Ye say, let me think about it. The president was shocked when he heard this sentence. In the past dungeon wars, the president and Shimen Yi attacked the dungeon together. He understands Simon Ye's temper. As long as you don't like it, you will immediately reject it. Shimen Yi said, don't be so surprised. I was a little curious after watching Xiaoyan's game. In contrast to TV, fighting feels different. The old dungeons are gone. This is the only place where we can fight. After listening to the president, he happily grabbed Shimen Yi. Almost kissed again. Then turn on the phone and let him watch the broadcast of the game and like it. It broke 10 million in less than an hour. There are also some praises for him in the comments. Shimen Yi got a little impatient at being hugged by the president. I was about to bite. The president said that he did not expect that he would promise himself that he was not excited enough. Simon Yi looked at him and said that he hadn't promised yet, don't be too happy. And seeing the bright smile on the chairman's face made me feel angry. The next moment I began to doubt the authenticity of the charity match. The president felt guilty, but he said confidently that he did not lie. Then Shimen Yi began to put forward his conditions for participating in the competition. Back home. At this time, Bai Jihu was holding a sword in the training ground. And now he's dizzy. The condition Simon Yi asked for from the president was that Bai Jihu should participate in the competition together. Bai Jihu is still angry. He said he was 48 years old. Haven't touched a weapon in 17 years. Shimen Yi said that he would find someone to co-edit no matter what. Bai Jihu was so angry that he almost wanted to say that his daughter who accompanied him chose another soldier. Looking at the angry look of the former apprentice. Just open your analytical eyes. Sure enough, 17 years of life has made my apprentice much weaker. Zaimanai prepares to start training Xiaohu again. And now Xiaohu's combat awareness is very weak. Simon Yi was so angry that he roared. My apprentice is so unbelievable. I saw Xiaohu emitting a blue light all over his body. Then burst out at full speed and rushed towards Zaimanai. When he was approaching, he used his superpower to teleport and appeared in front of Xiaoye. Just hear bang bang. The two attacks hit Xiaoye's shield. After Xiaoye was attacked, the whole person was also shot a certain distance away. Then Xiaohu asked if the attack was okay. But got an answer that was far from. Xiaohu scratched his head and said that it has been 17 years. I have regressed. At the age of 48, it is almost impossible to retrain my waist. And Xiaoye said that the 8-hour exercise is the warm-up. Xiaohu was so scared that he was ready to find an excuse to run away. Then I said that before training, I need to go to a special place. So Xiaoye came to the headquarters of the association under the leadership of Xiaohu. Same as before. Xiaoye also needs to retest the avatar to participate in the competition this time. And for the first test, he needs all-round test strength. This time we also need to test the athletic ability. You must achieve a 100% match between your avatar and yourself to participate in the competition. Xiaoye became suspicious when she heard what the tester said. This technology can restore 100% of the human body value. It is also fatal in the human range. All information is also managed by the International Association. Xiaoye said that this technology is the technology of the underground civilization. Could it be that the back of the International Association has been controlled by underground people? After finishing speaking, Xiaoye emitted a strong murderous aura all over her body. Speaking of being able to blow them up even so. After that, he came to the test field and began to test his physical values. The first is a muscle test. I saw Xiaoye holding the handle. Just pull hard. The value on the tester flashes quickly. Finally fixed at 813. Then retested twice. 814 and 817 respectively. Testers out looking at top heroes' physical stats. I just thought that this power is a bit ordinary. Then start testing agile. Seeing Xiaoya's whole body relaxed, she was ready. The next test moves quickly. There are also several afterimages around. The testers present were also shocked when they saw the speed. End of test. I saw the score began to move rapidly. Then Xiaoya wanted to see how many points she could get in the test now. 963 points. This score shocked all the testers present speechless. The current highest score is Bonarda of the Big Three. Created a record of 1007. I also saw his speed like a phantom in the watching video I saw before. Both he and Xiaogu Quancheng 17 have agility of 100. The two are almost equal. Xiaoya thought that if he worked harder, he should be able to exceed 970. So the second test was started immediately. End of test. Unexpectedly, I finally got the data of 971 points. Such data made all the testers present open their mouths. Actually exceeded. And Xiaoya thinks it is very interesting to surpass her own record. Ready to challenge again. This time, all his attention was fully concentrated. Today, he feels that his condition is particularly good. The surrounding airflow also flowed along with the trend. Then his eyes sparkled. The strength of the body also exploded suddenly like a thunderbolt. This time his afterimage is hotter than before. The speed also becomes faster. This scene shocked the testers outside again. Tiger was also shocked. The sound of ending comes from the system again. End of test. The blue light around Shimenyi is constantly moving. There is still a powerful explosive force in the body. Test results come out. 1007 points. Already tied with the world's fastest record Bernard. Seeing such a score, Xiaoyi also showed an expression of disbelief. My agility is only 97. How could it have the same score as 100? I was in an exceptionally good state just now. Maybe it's because of the original strength that I got such a score. Then I tried the strength test again. I don't care. Score from 819 to 890 now. The change I have now is that I am more concentrated. But concentrated can explode greater ability. In the eyes of the analyst, his own value has not changed in any way. And now how I feel. It's like one person blocking the underground people alone. My own willpower exceeds the original 110. That is to say, willpower can strengthen other abilities of oneself. Xiaoye thought that maybe she must break through herself in the turmoil of war. Then began to test the last ability. Mindfulness. As long as you infuse righteous thoughts into this round bead, the beads will change color. Mindfulness is also the most difficult ability to cultivate. When I woke up, it was 96 at the beginning. Later, I also used various methods to make up for the last 4 points. Then put your hand on the ball. At this time, the round bead emitted an unprecedented light. This light once again shocked everyone outside. This time the leaflet not only reached the peak of 1000, reached even more terrifying new heights. See you next time.
Damn.